think you were in trouble at any point? Because you got a nice engage on Hit 'em Up's push when he had like a bunch of Goliaths and a couple of tanks. Did you think that push could have given you trouble had you not got such a nice engage on it?
Yeah, certainly, because he went mech, and you kind of, when you're Zerg versus random, you're forced to do like a build which screws your eco a little. And versus mech, if you aren't very careful with your timings, you just get no amount of micro will just save you. So we had decently even engages until then. I thought he lost a little too many SCVs. And you're right, I did get a little bit lucky with catching his push, but even if he went as one force, I thought it was defendable. It just would have turned into an even game instead of just kind of a clear win from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I think that sums it up pretty nicely.
Yeah, so I guess I just want to say congratulations again. I think this is definitely like the group of death for sure. So must be a huge relief getting out. That's awesome. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, well, thank you, and thanks again for hosting. It's always a lot of fun. So have a good rest of the stream.
Thank you. So I guess we'll be moving on now to our best of three losers series. Gypsy against Hit 'em Up.
Yep. Just before that, though, let's plug in a couple of holes with the Matcherino. So if you haven't donated yet, head on over to matcherino.com/tournament/41660. There will be a link in the chat. Hopefully, give us your money. I heard you get some GameStop stocks if you contribute to the prize pool. So do that, and let's take it to the moon.
And we also have a Patreon as well. If anyone is curious or about supporting us for further events, or just throwing a couple dollars our way, hopefully we can keep getting some monthly funding in to not only fund further events, but also maybe even start paying some of the casters some extremely small sums of money per cast. But yeah, we'll see.
Yep, definitely support maybe not the casters, but the people actually doing a lot of work behind the scenes. They deserve a lot of credit.
The organizers, the artists, they all put in a ton of work here. It's actually really impressive. Just all the overlays and all the portraits. I don't know. Our staff is great.
Yep, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of fun for everyone. So honestly, if you're enjoying yourself, you're enjoying this StarCraft, playing in it, watching it, do consider contributing to their efforts. It's definitely worth it, and it's for your own good too. It helps the community.
Yeah, I mean, we're a small community, so it's always nice to have like grassroots efforts to try to keep things going, get events going. Every little bit helps.
All right, so now we're just waiting a little bit. We'll get into Gypsy versus Hit 'em Up, right?
Yeah, correct. So, I don't know. Like, again, I would expect. Well, first of all, how do you feel as a Terran against random?
Yeah, I mean it's not too bad. I know a lot of people will say like, oh, well, you can go Gaslight expansion in every matchup. Yeah, I mean, sure, if you don't mind losing to any sort of cheese, but you can still kind of open mech, like go for your factory and then expand in every matchup. So it's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, that's really the extent of my preparation for playing against random on the ladder. I'm sure, better players would have more to say on the subject.
Yeah. I mean, even if you start like one base gas against Zerg, like a random Zerg, sure you can go mech, but you can also transition into like a 1-1-1 build. Which, like, I'm not sure if that's something that Gypsy necessarily practices a lot, but I would expect, given being a Terran of his level, he could probably pull it off against Hit 'em Up Zerg. But by the same token, that's like a really kind of precise build, and Hit 'em Up might be leaning towards more of cheesy builds with his off races. So who knows?
Yeah, and we're starting off on Eclipse, so I mean, if Gypsy wants to, he can definitely take a small hit to his economy and get a scout off right off the bat to know exactly what to expect and how he should go from there. So in the top right, I think we have the Hit 'em Up, who happened to roll Zerg.
Yeah, and bottom left we have our return Gypsy. Yeah, so openings aside, I guess I've been talking about Gypsy's TVZ all night, so obviously you probably know where I stand. I would guess that this would be an easy win.
I mean, sure, but as we know, I think Hit 'em Up will definitely have something prepared. I mean, he knows Gypsy's terrain, right? He doesn't have to. There's nothing to worry about there. So he might have something special prepared. He might have some sort of build. I mean, we saw how Crossy, with his opening, kind of caught Gypsy off guard and went on to win from there. So I'm sure Hit 'em Up is probably thinking, oh, I need to do something a little bit special. If not, Gypsy's probably gonna roll me over.
Yeah, I'm guessing we will. I would be surprised if we saw a straight up like 2-hatch meta builds. Could see another like 2-hatch lurker play. We could also see because the third base at 12 o'clock is so easy to defend for Zerg. We could even see like a third hatch third play, because it's you just have that high ground choke to defend. Maybe like quick lurkers into ultras or something. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's across the map really. It's far, and like you said, there's a small ramp, so it's definitely easily defendable for the Zerg. You can see Gypsy putting his barracks there. That's definitely for in case Hit 'em Up is Protoss. But he's gonna see the Overlord pretty quickly here, so he's gonna know what to do. Yeah, there's the gas. You don't have a choice. Let's see if he decides to do anything about the gas. Is he just gonna keep going? Yeah, it looks like he's not. Yeah, okay.
Nope.
Yeah, he's gonna decide to cancel and just go and play Bio. I think that's it's a good call.
Yeah, Bio is just much more robust. I know it's what he's comfortable with. So I mean, it's like a small economic hit to cancel the gas there, but it's just like 25 minerals, right? It's no big deal.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I always do the same if I can scout the Zerg quickly enough. If I can scout the random player being Zerg quickly enough, I'll just cancel it and go for a normal bio play, which is 25 fewer minerals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm almost a little surprised that Hit 'em Up didn't try to go for like the sneaky Overlord path, because like some Zergs do that on Eclipse anyway, kind of going around the edges of the map a little bit instead of right through the center. Just because sometimes Terrans, if they're going like 8 racks, they can snipe the Overlord.
Yeah, definitely, that's true. But it looks like the Overlord's just gonna get into position, no problem. Gypsy already moved his barracks. He's getting his expansion. Yeah, I mean it's really just standard play from Gypsy. The second rack's coming down, so I think we can expect the gas at 3:30, the academy, and then perhaps a move out around like 5:15, something like that.
And just a regular 2-hatch build so far from Hit 'em Up. Maybe he'll eat my words and just go for the most standard of standard Zerg plays.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2-player map, so it's hard to hide anything, right? The SCV is going to get to your base pretty quickly, and someone like Gypsy's not going to miss, if you're trying to if you're trying to put a sneaky third hatch re-out on the map, or if maybe you went like speed first, because your layer's late, something like that. I'm sure Gypsy would see. So, I mean, I guess I'm not too surprised to see Hit 'em Up go for straight up 2-hatch, but I mean, it's not. He still has the possibility to throw a Hydralisk Den or something like that. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, like Hit 'em Up's minerals are so high, it's like I don't know, kind of confusing to me. Okay, so he's going 2-hatch meta. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I guess I'll be interested to see what Hit 'em Up's meta micro is like. This is almost kind of like the 2.5 hatch. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, I thought the hatchery would come down a little bit earlier though. But
Yeah, he had the minerals for it. He's up to like 500 at one point before the spire went down. I'm wondering why he delayed it. Maybe he's just a little unfamiliar with the build.
yeah, he might just be kind of undecisive as to what to do. I mean, he hasn't put much effort in tracking down this SCV, right? So on the other hand, on one hand, he's not trying to. I mean, it seemed like he might have been trying to hide something, but on the other hand, he wasn't making an effort to get rid of that SCV. And I think Gypsy just saw pretty much everything. So
Yeah, Gypsy literally got 100% scouting information. I was actually surprised that Hitmap was trying to finally block the ramp with the Langan drone before the sunken finish, because like really there's no more information that Gypsy needs.
yeah, but I see. Oh no, that's the pool in his main. So yeah, there's not much. Yeah, I mean, it looks like Hedemap's just gonna play a fairly standard Muta. Yeah, we'll see. Gypsy, is he gonna move out? He has about like probably 10 Marines, 2 medics. Looks like he's just gonna stay on the defense for now.
So I have to ask, this is like a new build that's kind of coming into fashion for Zerg here. Have you played against it much on ladder?
The 2.5 hatch.
Yeah.
I've played it against it like a couple times, but more like maybe a month or two ago. Nowadays, I don't see it all that often.
Interesting. I thought it was gaining more and more momentum, but maybe I haven't been watching enough Korean streams.
Well, like you've said before, I've seen a 3 hatch make a bit of a resurgence, which I like because playing 5 racks plus 1 is my bread and butter, if I can be so bold as to say that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
bread and butter.
Yeah, I would imagine any Terran, if they've practiced it a few times, would greatly prefer just being able to go +1 5 racks. You just get such an insane infrastructure and economy going.
Yeah, well, especially with people switching back, and I feel like they're a bit. Well, not that I'm playing at the highest level anyway, but they feel like they're a bit shaky, and it's definitely getting some free wins. So anyway, so the Muta harass didn't do too much. Looks like he's flying in again, but Gypsy's moving out now. And now the question is, does Hitmap have enough Sunkens to hold at his natural? Because if he doesn't, he has 2. So it should be okay, right?
I would think with the Mutas returning, he should be fine. But I don't know, it's always scary. It'll come down to whether Gypsy actually decides to go, and I think he's just putting pressure. I think he realizes that with all those Mutas plus the Sunkens, there's not too much he can do right now. He's going for a little bit... well, actually, I don't... Is he going 4x or 5x? No, yeah, he started on 2 racks, I believe, and his starport is already on the way, so I don't think he's going to try to bust here. I think he's just applying pressure, right?
Yeah, I don't think that there's nothing else coming out from his base, so he's definitely just sitting there and putting a bit of pressure, keeping the Mutas back. Oh, it looks like he's gonna go. He knows the Mutas went away. Looks like the Sunkens are gonna go down. A few Mutas are trying to micro against the Marines. They're not getting a whole lot done. The main clump of Mutalists, excuse me, is coming back here. It's gonna be close. A good scan.
Yeah, wow. That was a huge misstep, just running out like that. Yeah, I thought he saw that he got scuttled by Gypsy as well. Really surprising that he decided to do that.
Yeah, and the Muta's fighting a little bit kind of a staggered way. He took a lot of damage. He's down to only 2 Mutas, and I think we saw, he had 11 Mutas and a few more popped out, so he really committed hard on the Mutas, and he lost almost all of them. So yeah, and you can see in the supply, he's down to 35, so he lost a lot of stuff there, and it's going to be hard to recover.
Yeah, I don't even know what he's aiming for. Maybe some sort of like crazy Zerg, because it doesn't look like he has a den anymore. This third is going to go down now. I think he's pretty much toast.
Yeah, I think he was just, and I'm not sure if that's your take on, the 2.5 hatch build, Muta build, where, I feel like the Zergs, what they want to do is get a lot of Mutas, a lot of Lings, and they want to, fight the Marine medics out on the map. I feel like that's what he was going for, but he...
Yeah, it's either that or just getting a really strong base economy and then transitioning into late game, like a hybrid between regular 2-hatch muta and what you would do with like a 3-hatch muta build. So like I think usually they get more sunkens. Like I would have expected a couple more sunkens, so you would actually have the freedom of only having one location to defend, to go out and try to harass SUVs or something. But instead he skimped on the sunkens and tried to go harass, which was just a huge misstep in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit kind of confident that Gypsy would just like sit there, but Gypsy was really he had his eye on the prize the whole time, and as soon as I think he realized the units are away, he went in and got a lot of damage. Now they're coming back here and getting a few SCVs, but there's quite a few turrets, and he's taking a lot of that. These units are bruised, man. Like, it's gonna be hard to defend now.
I mean, those mutas aren't going to be able to do anything to a Marine medic force this large. He's making 4 sunkens, but I don't even think that's going to be enough.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, they have +1. Oh, the Greater Spire, man. I don't know if it's going to be on time. I guess it makes sense now that he's making so many mutas, but he's going to hit too fast, right? There's no time for that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be up in time. I think he's dead here, honestly, unless he can pull out some insane muta micro. But as we saw before, maybe his muta micro is a little lacking just because he's not quite as experienced as Zerg.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. Oh man, I didn't even see.
Oh, and he just GG's right there.
Yeah. My God.
Ouch.
The Gypsy's up 1-0. Definitely, there's the sort of not legendary TVZ, but that it definitely showed his strength in that matchup.
Yeah, being able to play right in his comfort zone. I feel like everything in that game went completely his way. I was honestly surprised Hiddemup didn't try to pull out something a little more unorthodox.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of possibilities as to who you're going to play and what race you're going to roll, and maybe ZVT against Gypsy is something that you just accept as a loss. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate to think that any of our players would have that kind of mentality going into these games, but yeah, I mean, it is tough for sure.
So we're gonna head into game number 2. We're just waiting for the map pick from Hiddemup.
I wonder if we'll see something truly a little like out of left field, because our maps are very very standard. Like we're using pretty much like current ASL ASTL maps.
Yeah.
But there are maps like I'm drawing a blank right now. Optimizer is what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
Notorious for having the double gas and everything in the main.
Yeah, we have Optimizer. We also have Ringing Bloom, which is a bit more unconventional.
Yeah, and it's actually the updated version of Ringing Bloom as well, with whereas the base outside of the mains used to be a mineral only, now it has a third gas. So probably wouldn't be a huge game breaking feature against Gypsy, but as Zerg, I was kind of like loathing when I realized that there was an extra gas there, because it already wasn't like my favorite map to play on, and then just like in ZVP and ZVT, like those races having access to an easy gas makes it that much worse to deal with.
Yeah, definitely. It seems a bit strong to have a third gas, but who knows? I guess it makes the map more balanced.
Yeah, well, that's what surprised me, because I don't think Zerg was doing particularly well on it before, and I know that like Mech is sort of popular on it, so like Mech Terran getting a free third gas, I don't know, it seems rough.
Yep. So now we're just waiting. What is the map gonna be?
Looks like Hiddemup is going for Shakuras.
Yeah, Shakuras Temple it is.
I'm wondering if he has an actual plan for this. Shakuras is like I was saying before, I think it's quite a quick rush distance. So I guess this would be like the map to do it on. It's 4 players and a quick rush distance. If you wanted to do some sort of like crazy fast rush, maybe this would be the map to do it on.
Yeah. Although, as far as Hit 'em Up having a plan, I'm not sure what's the etiquette on reviewing this, but in the chat, when asked what map he would like next, he replied, "Doesn't really matter. Shakuras, I guess."
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should mention that. But yeah, maybe he's just resigned to failure. Who knows? Maybe he's just going with Shakuras because that was the one that he practiced the most because it was the first map. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I hope he's going to put up a fight. I know I saw a little bit of the chatter going on in the Discord, and he wasn't. He had a bit of an attitude of, oh, he doesn't think he's going to get out. But I mean, I think he definitely has a chance. I don't think it's a fluke that he made it into the round of 16.
No, definitely not. Yeah, for those who are unfamiliar, if you're not in the Rogues Gallery Discord a few days ago, Gypsy actually, along with Hit 'em Up, had a little bit of a spat because Hit 'em Up was kind of like resigning himself to failure before the game started, and Gypsy was taking issue with that. Because it is, I mean, Gypsy is easily heated, I'll say, and emotional at times. So, he'll tend to get into arguments, whereas other people wouldn't. But, it is a little disrespectful both to yourself and to your competitors, your fellow competitors, if you're just constantly talking about how you have no chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, Gypsy taking issue with that, I think it comes from a place of love. I think he has a lot of respect for Hit 'em Up, and he doesn't like to see him kind of have that attitude. He'd rather see an attitude of a competitor, someone who might think he's an underdog, but still will give it his best shot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's also like he beat legit players to get here. It's not like he got some kind of like crazy run into the top 16 where he only played against like 1,400 players or something.
Yeah, definitely. So it looks like we're gonna get into the game right now. So it's Hit 'em Up versus Gypsy, game 2, Shakura's Temple. All right, so in the bottom left corner, it's Hit 'em Up, and you roll Protoss.
Top right, we have Gypsy. So yeah, this will be interesting. I don't remember if we've seen any PVTs from Hit 'em Up yet.
I don't think so. We've seen him play TVP, but I don't think we've seen him play PVT.
But yeah, like I don't know. I guess anything can happen in PVT, right? I mean, there's all sorts of chooses that you can do.
Yeah, I mean, Protoss definitely has, they have their pick of the litter, They can do whatever they want, and it's up to the Terran to kind of respond, especially in the early game. So I expect Hit 'em Up to I mean, I hope he has a build. I hope he has something a little bit special prepared to try to throw Gypsy off, because as much as we talk about Gypsy's TVZ, his TVP and his TVT are pretty good too. So
yeah, definitely very solid all around. I was actually going to ask, like, I keep mentioning that there's short rush distance and everything, and there are actually cross positions this game. So maybe like early zealots won't do as much damage, but do you think this actually favors Hit 'em Up in terms of like being able to keep his build under wraps a little bit?
Yeah, well, it comes down to how quickly the Terran will scout, right? So if the Terran can get in, if the Terran scouts at a relatively standard timing, so around like 12, and Gypsy scouted a little bit earlier than that, and you scout your opponent last, then you won't get into his base because the Dragoon will be there. But here, Gypsy is going to get into the Protoss base, so he's going to see everything that there is to see, which isn't a whole lot.
Yeah.
Right? Given that Hit 'em Up's going with a relatively standard opening. But there's still going to be a time, like an opportunity for Hit 'em Up to, branch out into something a little bit funky if he wants to.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like Hit 'em Up isn't even going Zealot first, is he? And Gypsy's actually going Rax of Feet, so...
Yeah, Gypsy's going to get away with kind of a nice build port. I wouldn't call it an advantage, but it's nice for the Terran to be able to go gases expand and not have to worry about any kind of zealot pressure.
Definitely. So, yeah, I don't know. Not even hiding any like second pylon. Like I don't know. I'm a big fan of Protoss like even making their second pylon like behind their natural minerals or something, just to kind of like, even if they're not planning on going for a cheese, just putting that fear into Terran a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely see what you mean. Although I don't know if it's just me, but personally, I don't even really count the pylons anymore because, like you said, I mean they can hide them anywhere, and really the only indicator that I personally care about is whether or not the core starts spinning when it should. Other than that, I mean, it tells you everything pretty much. So the pylon count, I'm not too worried about it, I think.
Fair enough. So yeah, I'm assuming Gypsy, he saw the pylons and he saw the core spinning, right? So
yeah, and you tend to leave a little bit before the goon pops out. So the goon pops out normally between 3:10 and 3:15, something like that. So you want to leave a little bit before, so that the goon doesn't see where your SCV goes, and then you come back around this time, around 4:15, and you look whether or not there's a nexus at the natural, and that tells you if the Protoss went for some sort of cheesy build, in which case you would build your eBay, and if not, then you're free to go, for a quick second factory. Oh, what's this?
interesting. Yeah, I was going to say like, wow, Gypsy is not cutting any corners in terms of scouting. Like going out with those Marines, I thought he was looking for proxy pylons or something, but looks like now he's actually clearing the way for an extra sneaky little factory here.
Yeah, I actually forgot he went gases expand. So I think what's going to happen here is that he's going to probably make vultures out of this factory, and he's just going to have like a regular tank with maybe siege mode come out from the front, and that's going to maybe hit him up in thinking, okay, this guy's just getting his tank siege and he's going to stay in his base for a bit, and then vultures might just come out and kill a ton of probes. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Oh yeah, so that would be super cool by itself. But I was also wondering if there's any like, because I'm not super familiar with TVP, but I know there's that like 2 or 3 tank builds, 2 factory like quick push after a quick expand that like catches some greedy Protoss off guard nowadays.
Yeah, I think that's like that will win instantly if the Protoss tries to go like double expand after seeing the Terran go for gasless expand. In this case though, he's taking a third pretty quickly here. So yeah, you're right. This might do a lot of damage to hit him up here. Taking a third this fast, it's gonna be tough to hold Gypsy's push.
If he does decide to do that, I don't know if that's what he's actually planning.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it depends on what upgrades he gets from his machine shop, I think. Although having a wall here is going to definitely keep those vultures out. It depends what he does with his vultures. If he goes speed and tries to go in and kill a bunch of probes, he might go mines and just put mines in the middle of the map. And when those dragoons are going to retreat, they're going to run into some mines. But it looks like it's speed now, so he's going to go in. Doesn't care about the third. Doesn't even know that the third's there, and he's going to do a lot of damage here.
No mines yet, but yeah, I'm assuming he's going to lose a lot of probes from that.
Yeah, and he, 2 vultures will kill a probe in 1 volley. Yeah, he's hunting down probes, and he already has, a pretty good build.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is just tough.
14 probes in total. That's gotta feel awful. As the Protoss.
Yeah, and you see Gypsy, I mean, he's floating a little bit. He spent a lot of time, a lot of effort microing those vultures, but I think it paid for itself quite easily here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, you hit him up. He still has a decent amount of probes, but I'm guessing that was at least like a third of his probes that he lost. And it looks like Gypsy is kind of, I don't know if he's just providing cover for his factory to return to his base. I guess that's what he's doing rather than trying to go for any like quick push.
Yeah, there's one thing though. Gypsy went for, he sent his vultures in. He got a lot of probes, sure, but then he lost his vultures, and now all this time, Hit 'em Up was getting his third up, and so he lost a lot of probes, but he has 3 nexuses up to rebuild those probes, and so it depends how quickly Gypsy's next push is going to come out. We saw him go up to 4 factories, but he was floating a factory. Yeah, we see this factory floating. So he actually only has 3 factories producing units, and you see he's getting a third. So he's not going to get aggressive very quickly, which means that Hit 'em Up might actually recover with his fast third nexus, and we might actually go into kind of like a nice late game here. I don't know.
I'm guessing. I don't know. Is Gypsy even on +1 yet?
He probably doesn't have +1 just
No,
yet.
not yet, but it's researching. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And oh man, oh no, oh no, round 2.
Wow, just free reign. That's oof.
Yeah, this is if you're a little bit inexperienced, the vultures are constantly looking to get in, and this is what you see a lot of Protoss players. They build kind of like a pylon wall in front of their natural, not a complete wall, obviously, but they'll kind of narrow the choke a lot so that they can defend with only a couple of goons and still have some map control with the other goons and an observer. But here, Hit 'em Up.
Miss rally though.
Yeah, he went out, and now the vultures got a few more probes, so it's gonna be tough now.
Unfortunately, Gypsy losing a tank, just concentrating on getting the third up, concentrating on those vultures and everything. Oh, and okay, so yeah, this is just a misrallied factory, unfortunately. Losing a couple tanks for free, but I think he's still in a really great position. He's still ahead in supply, which is never what you want to see as the Protoss player. And he should be able to hold this. Only 4 tanks though, 6 tanks. Wow, so yeah, not having any support from vultures there really hurt. Especially losing those other 2 tanks for free, but even so, I think Gypsy should still clean this up. How do you feel as Terran in this position, just losing all those tanks and getting tank reset?
I mean, it definitely feels bad when you lose all your tanks like that. I mean, sure, the Protoss also loses a lot of units, but you're not really in a position to push without any tanks. And oh my god, a huge mine hit, but thankfully all these goons were full HP before. Yeah, I mean, it feels bad, and I think Hit 'em Up here, he shouldn't get overly greedy. He should probably just take a 4th and tech up. You can't force your way. You can't win the game right now. So he has to take his, I wouldn't say advantage, but
yeah,
he has a way back into the game, I think.
And it looks like he is just trying to macro up a little bit here. Surprisingly, he's just now getting a forge, so he doesn't have any cannons, and he's obviously going to be behind on upgrades. He also, we see he's not even he's pretty low gate count, and he doesn't have any late game tech going for him. No arbiters, no carriers. So yeah, honestly, even with that advantageous fight that he just took, I don't think it's looking very good for Hit 'em Up.
Yeah, you're right. His tech is almost non-existent. He only has a Citadel, and so he's a long way away from Arbiters or Templars or anything that he would really need to be able to take a fight against Gypsy.
Yeah, now this 4th base is getting denied from the dropship, and like the thing about Gypsy is, he's one of the few Terrans, I think, in the foreign scene that like actively tries to push games into like split map scenarios and like very late game PvP, because he's confident in his mechanics and his decision making, and he's going to have like a great time going into that position from here.
Oh man, a lot of probes went down there. A lot of zealots went down just now. This is not looking good. I mean, you can see that Hit 'em Up. You can tell he's obviously not a Protoss main, because there's tiny little details that that are kind of missing from his play, and Gypsy is a good enough player that he's exploiting all of them really. So the mine delaying the forge for so long, the drops, the mines that took out a bunch of probes there, and the vultures constantly running in. It's all little things that have kind of culminated into Gypsy having a pretty sizable advantage right now.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of what StarCraft is all about, or at least Brood War especially. Like, just taking all the little small errors that you make and just having them snowball over the course of an entire game.
Oh man, the tank in the perfect spot. Oh god.
And then following with all these vultures on the high ground, this is going to be such a pain. And it looks like Hit 'em Up is just going to try to do one last Hail Mary, like backstab.
Yeah, he's had enough, I think. I understand. He's just gonna A-move, and you know what? That can be surprisingly effective. I'm not sure if... Okay, Gypsy knows because he's pulling back his units, but is he gonna be in time though? Hit 'em Up's just gonna run in here. I don't know. Oh man, there's a lot of mines.
There's a lot of tanks. There's a ton of vultures. I mean, he's 70 supply up.
Yeah, no, this isn't gonna work.
This isn't it. But I don't think there's anything else that he can do at this point, honestly. He just didn't have any late game plan.
Yeah, I think he's just fed up, and I would be too, to be honest, if I were in his shoes.
Yeah, when you know you don't have any tech advantage to rest on, you don't have an economic advantage. It's kind of hard.
There's the GG. So Gypsy takes out Hit 'em Up 2-0. He's gonna move on into the final match, which is going to be against Crossy, and unfortunately Hit 'em Up is out.
Yep, so proving himself right, just as maybe just to spite Gypsy,
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, this is the best of 3 against Crossy and Gypsy. Like, the first game was a pleasure to watch. I wish both of these players could make it out, honestly. Like, I wish it was more than just 2 players, because I just want to see more of everyone in this group. But yeah, I'm interested to see what both players have in store for these next few games. For our first map in the final best of 3, we'll be starting on Polypoid. Pretty much the gold standard of standard maps, I feel at this point. I feel like it's sort of replaced Fighting Spirit, at least in my head, as the preeminent standard map.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's definitely one of the kind of new staple 4-player maps. Much in the same way that Sylphid is a new staple 3-player map. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice map. Do you have any thoughts about it in terms of ZVT? Is there anything particular for you in that?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I feel pretty comfortable playing on it. It's a little hairy if you want to take a close third, because there's the 2 entrances, but I mean, that's not that big of a deal. It is very close rush distances, so if you're close positions, you have to be careful if the Terran is doing a early academy timing push or something. But other than that, there's not really anything non-standard about it. How do you feel as Terran?
Oh, pretty much the same, honestly. If I play on Polypoid, there's no kind of particular thoughts going into my head. Not that there's any thoughts going through my head, but nothing related to Polypoid.
Yeah. No, my brain just shuts down when I play StarCraft, I'll be honest.
All right, so I think we're about to get ready to go into this game, this final best of 3. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Crossy has any crazy builds lined up for this best of 3 series.
Yeah, I think if anyone has a crazy build, I think it's going to be Crossy. And speaking of Crossy, there he is the blue Zerg in the top right corner.
And top left corner, we have Gypsy, our red Terran.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I think if anyone has a crazy build, it's gonna be Crossy. Not that he's a cheesy player, like we said. He's definitely just. I think he likes kind of going for, not even necessarily builds, but just strategy or tactics that involve a lot of multitasking and backstabs and all sorts of things. Gypsy, on the other hand, I don't know if he has a lot of builds in TVZ. I've seen him play a little bit of two-port Wraith on maps where you can wall easily. I don't think Polyport is a map where he'll want to wall, especially not in that position though.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it's possible to wall that natural, really. Yeah, I mean, Gypsy generally, from what I've seen, you know, he sticks to 2-racks against, you know, obviously 2-hatch Muta or 2-hatch builds in general. And, you know, his 2-racks builds are very crisp for sure. Both players have great, you know, great builds. Yeah, like, I don't know. I have seen Gypsy pull out 2-port Wraith, like you said. I've seen him pull out 101 and like weird mech builds occasionally, but I think the last time I saw that from Gypsy was in like the first foul play at A match that we had, that Rogues Gallery hosted, where he ended up losing to Striker 1-3, I believe. So maybe it's not his strongest play style at all. Definitely bio, just straight up bio play is his bread and butter.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see out of him as well, as there's no gas just yet. Meanwhile, Crossy with the early pull, but it's going to get scouted right away, so Gypsy's going to have plenty of time to react, and Crossy might just end up a tiny bit behind here.
Yeah. Crossy going for the 9 pool with the extractor trick, so it's, you know, it's definitely an aggressive pool opening, but it still lets you get your hatchery and your gas up at a reasonable time.
Oh, so, hold on. Did the SCV?
Oh yeah, he actually tricked the SCV into thinking that he was just drone scouting. That's amazing.
Oh god. Oh no. Oh, this is. Oh man, this is disaster waiting to happen. It's still possible to play from this though. He might realize something's off just now, seeing there's no base there in the bottom right. Yeah, he's leaving. This is going to be hard. It's possible to play from here, but this is a really tough spot for Gypsy.
Wow. Yeah, and taking the 2 Marines down, I mean, SCVs are a pain to fight against, though. I mean, it's still great for Crossy, I think. It sucks that he lost all 4 of those lings, and these 2 are pretty damaged, so there's not too much that he can do from here with these lings, but he's forcing 4 SCVs from Gypsy just because he has no scouting information whatsoever. He doesn't know if there's more lings coming or what. And yeah, it's allowing Crossy to like rebuild his economy.
Yeah, and if Gypsy wasn't on tilt now, I mean, if Gypsy wasn't on tilt before, he certainly is now, because he went to the bottom left and saw that there was no Zerg base there either. So he's not in a good spot. He started his command center in the main base. Crossy went. He made a couple of links still, but he's teching up already. Yeah, it's Gypsy's in a tough spot here. He's gonna scout and then see the expansion and the links blocking the ramp already, and that's pretty frustrating, not being able to scout.
Yeah, I mean, Crossy was able to pick off another Marine, and he's able to deny the SCV scout. He didn't make any more than those 2 lings, so he's really sitting pretty right now. We see a couple more lings pop. Potentially he's a little afraid of like some sort of early Marine move out, but I think he's just really in control of the game right now.
Yeah, definitely. We see Gypsy trying to pick off an Overlord near his natural. I don't think he's going to be successful. He might just pick it off. The SCV does go down.
Oh, wow. Yeah, nice. I honestly can't believe he got that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The Overlord started going back towards Crossy's base instead of heading straight up. That was a bit... I'm not sure...
Yeah, I think that was just a straight up mistake by Crossy. I don't think there was any intention behind that.
Yeah, I think he was definitely focused on the scouting SCV. And so he... well, you know, it's a step in the right direction for Gypsy to come back into this game.
Yeah, definitely evening it up a little bit. I mean, Crossy could have actually easily gone and picked off all of those Marines. Like, Gypsy actually has balls of steel to commit to killing that Overlord. But then he was able to get this bunker down right in time. And yeah, losing early Overlords as Zerg is really, really painful, especially when you already start out with a low eco build like this. Every larva matters. And it looks like Crossy is going for more and more lings, trying to leverage his scouting advantage.
Yeah, I don't know if that's... I I don't know if this is gonna pay off. The Spire is about to finish, so we're gonna see Mutas and coupled with the Lings. Maybe he wants to. Yeah, he's gonna head in with the Lings. He's looking for. He's looking for things. There's not that much to get actually, and the Lings get an SCV, and that's pretty much it. So.
Yeah, showing it so early too. I don't know. That's really rough. It's really hard to come back from this position. I think he only has 8 or 9 drones at his main, and then he's mining gas at his natural. So this is like completely all in at this point.
Yeah, we saw his supply dip to 19 actually after that kind of failed Ling attack. So Gypsy now in a kind of in a normal situation now, right? He has more supply than the Zerg. These Lings aren't going to do a whole lot. Now the Mutas are heading over, and I don't see any turrets just yet. So maybe that's Crossy's. Maybe Crossy can do something here.
Yeah, a little window of opportunity there. I don't know. I'm really disappointed with that Ling attack. I was thinking maybe he was going to like hide them longer and try to force Gypsy out somehow, but I don't know. This is really rough.
Yeah, it definitely. The Lings definitely did not pay off. And, the turret here gets denied for a little bit at least. 5 Mutas are gonna do something. Yeah, there's no drone mining at the natural. That's tough.
Yeah, like I said, this is 100% all in. If Crossy doesn't do like critical damage here, but wow, this is huge.
He might just do critical damage. Yeah, geez, oh man, that was really quick. Fell apart really quick for Gypsy here.
I'm honestly, wow, yeah, I think both players were a little like off their game. Honestly, both players maybe a little tilted from the previous series. Yeah, wow. If Gypsy just had a couple SCVs there, or maybe Marines or medics in a better position there, he could have actually, I think, completely defended that. But once the Lings got in there, it's game over.
Yeah, his turrets were also a little bit late. He started getting them at the natural first, but Crossy went straight into the main, perhaps hoping that as a Terran you get your turrets closer to the Zerg first, as you assume that the Mutas will show up there first. But with Crossy going straight into the main, he was able to deny that turret there, and I think that plays a huge part because you don't want to let the Mutas kind of have free reign over your production, and so Gypsy was fighting pretty hard with his Marines to kind of keep control of that. And then I think it was a little bit of poor luck there, getting his Marines out from the bunker and trying to group up at the same time as the Lings were running in. Yeah, tough break for Gypsy there, all across the board.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and wow, I don't know. I hope both our players are keeping a level head. It's really tough after games like that to, I think, stay stable mentally. So hopefully Gypsy isn't like tilting too much right now.
I mean, watching Gypsy play, honestly, his stream, you can see him tilt sometimes, but he's actually he tilts, but he kind of keeps it together for the next game as well. Like he's able to do that. Like surprisingly, the quality of his play doesn't go down all that much, even when he's tilted. So
yeah, definitely. I do agree with that. But on the other hand, I think tournament games are another beast. I mean, it's one thing to be playing on ladder, and there is extra stress, in my opinion. I think most players would agree there's extra stress when you're playing on stream. But I think there's even like a completely different level of stress when you're playing in a tournament.
Yeah, that's true. But looks like we're going to go with Shakura's Temple for game 2. We have Gypsy down here in the bottom right corner as the red Terran.
Right, and we have Crossy. Okay. Crossy has the blue Zerg in the top left, and he canceled a drone, so looks like we're actually going to be seeing a fort pool here.
Yeah, what could that possibly mean?
Wow, I was not expecting a fort pool. Okay.
So it's cross map, which is already kind of unfortunate for Crossy. That being said, if Gypsy doesn't scout it in time, well, I mean, you have a little bit more Four pool is pretty much all in, right? It's as all in as it gets. So
Yeah,
even if you don't
yeah.
scout it, if you manage to defend it and not get yourself down to 4 SCVs yourself, you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
So I think right now the odds are in Gypsy's favor, but we can never be.
And
Never be sure.
we have seen that Gypsy has been very, I would say, kind of conservative in his builds. He hasn't been trying for any like 15 CCs or anything before he starts marine production. He's been making sure he like scouts diligently. You know, last game notwithstanding, that was just a complete mind game. We probably won't see that again.
Yeah,
So yeah, as long as Gypsy doesn't straight up lose all of his units, this should be a win.
yeah, definitely. So we said, being cross position, it's kind of bad for Crossy, but on the other hand, his lings are going to come out at a timing that Gypsy will not be able to scout with his SCV, I think. He scouted for an Overlord, I think, and now he's going to head in the opposite direction. I don't think he's going to see the lings. So it's all going to come down to reaction time and whether or not Gypsy can hold efficiently against the lings.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, he'll have the most one Marine. Honestly, like wow. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words right now. I kind of want to just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, this is gonna be feel bad when you sees the lings, but that being said, he has to rush with his SCVs over there and protect the Marine that's gonna come out. Here comes the man, this is this is not good. The Marine's out to the left, and the SCVs come in, and no, it goes down. Looks like the SCVs are gonna try and protect the next one.
Yeah, I think this is exactly how you have to play it. As long as he can, oh wow, instantly picking out that Marine. I think Gypsy is in real trouble now.
Yeah, this is not looking good. He is gonna pick off another Ling, but at the cost of a couple of SCVs. This is gonna be tough. Another Marine's gonna pop out soon. There it is. Oh god, I mean, yeah, it's
Wow, it's over. GG.
hard, man. GG.
Wow, what a heartbreaker for Gypsy.
Yeah, yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow, I think, for anyone.
But I mean, I gotta hand it to Crossy. He was not afraid to go for the jugular with some, aggressive openings. I mean, it takes. Four pool is a very risky build. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. I'm just kind of stunned that this is the this is the games we got, but still.
Hello.
I think we have an interview with Crossy. Crossy, are you there?
Yep.
All right, so Crossy, so congratulations. You've made it to the next round. How do you feel?
Feel great. I thought it was I'm really glad that I could get out of tough group here.
Yeah, you're a little low, Crossy.
Is that okay now?
Oh yeah, it's much better now. Yeah, congratulations again. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, obviously, this is like we've been saying all night. This was definitely the group of death, and Gypsy is a crazy TVZ player, so it must be like a huge sense of relief. Were you planning on starting with those builds, both the 9 pool and the 4 pool, in case you ended up hitting Gypsy in the best of 3, or was it just an off the cuff sort of thing?
The first game when I did 4 lurker push build, that was my build I prepared for this game. And my plan was to win Hawk, but I lost to Hawk somehow. So after that, I just went 9 pool because I thought he might go 8 Rex since he died by my lurkers. But somehow he made a mistake that he didn't get the scout with his SCV, so I thought it was nice for me. And then second game, I thought he's the one that has a mental pressure there. So I just went forward there because I thought he wouldn't expect me going forward.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like there's very few players who I would expect four pull from. Maybe like Tai 2 is one of them, but yeah, it's definitely not the build you would expect.
Yeah, I didn't even plan to do that until I start my and even after the game started because I made a drone and I canceled it. So it wasn't my plan. I was just lucky that he didn't get the scalp before my links arrive his main. So I was lucky.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, even so, very nice micro picking off the Marines and making sure that the SUVs weren't allowed to get a surround over a Marine. Um, yeah, so the series against Hawk, you mentioned you were feeling favored going into that. I wanted to ask one thing about the 11 hatch on Eclipse. So was that something you were planning from the start in terms of like, because I feel like in terms of how I understand your ZVZ play, you're very confident in your 9 pool. Were you doing that to try to mind game Hawk? Did you think?
No, I played lots of games against Hawk and I mostly did 9-pull and I barely lost against him. And the reason why I did 11 hatch is just I think it was kind of a mistake, but I kind of knew that he would go 9-pull. But I went 11 hatch because if I can hold his 9-pull with my 11 hatch that game, then I was sure that his mental would be broken. So it would make my second game easier against Hawk. So I did 11 hatch, but I somehow didn't get to hold it because he microed really well. So yeah, that was the reason why I won the 11 hatch. So
Interesting.
I wanted to show him that I could hold 9-pull with my 11 hatch. It was my mistake.
Okay, well, I totally wasn't expecting that. That's actually kind of diabolical, but yeah, congratulations for getting out of the group despite that setback. I guess I also want to ask about the 2-hatch lurker build that you did in game one. I thought that was really cool because usually when I think of 2-hatch lurker builds, even 2-hatch lurker into defiler, I generally conceive of them as pretty all in. Generally, you don't see Zergs take a third, let alone a fourth, and try to like transition into a regular macro game from there. And when I saw Gypsy finally break out into his natural again and out of his natural with the tanks, like that was a super tense period. But yeah, I guess I want to ask, like, how did you develop that build? Because I find it really impressive.
I was watching my friend's stream on Africa, and he actually did that. And it felt like I could somehow tweak it a little bit and maybe take drones of gas after I get 400 gas to make 4 lurkers and then put down third edge right away because usually Terrans will expect when they see 4 lurkers, then Zerg is gonna go all in. So I tried to mind game that, and I asked this build order to Tashik, he's 2600 MMR Korean, and he said this build order is actually exist already. So there's actually a really good counter against this build as a Terran, but I don't want to reveal it here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So it's just making 4 lurkers, and then as long as I can as long as I can deny Terran's natural, then I have better eco and I have better tech. And if I take third base as a natural, then I can take 4 gas really quick. So I used this build order because I thought Gypsy also wouldn't expect this build order.
Yeah, I don't think he did at all. But yeah, did you have any other questions, Ninja?
I was just curious, in those last games against Gypsy, in the first game, you went for a Ling, attack just before the mutas came out, and that got shut down pretty hard. Did you think you were in trouble at that point?
No, because I mind gamed that actually because I showed my links on purpose to make him think I'm lurker. Because I knew his natural was late because my 6 links went in somehow. I lost my OV, so it wasn't as good as it should be. But still, he made the second bunker because he felt like I might go lurker there. So there was actually I when I first went with my links, I kind of felt like he's going back there because I didn't see any marines near bunker. So I went in, and then I saw his marines moving down from the main, so I just pulled back. I thought that was enough because his turret was late, and that could, yeah, I could finish the
Okay, yeah.
game there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, making him think it was lurkers. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I think we're about ready to wrap it up. So congratulations again. Oh yeah. Well, thank you, Crossy. Congratulations, and we'll see you in the next round.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who you face in the round of 8. It'll be a pleasure to watch you play, though. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
And so next week, same time, 8 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. Pacific, we'll be seeing Group C between Models, Nesh, Jaeyoon, and Michael, aka Cheese King. Should be a super fun group as well. I believe will be myself and Shafir casting. And yeah, as always, please check out our Discord to stay up to date with our events. Check out our Patreon, our Matcherino, if you would like to contribute further to the Rogue City Rumble event. And thank you all for watching.